We are live for the ProteinHouse in Scottsdale. Yes. How are you, Steve?
Fantastic. First time in Scottsdale with MTN?
It's not your first. Oh, it's our first time in Scottsdale with MTN. I was like, this isn't your first time in Scottsdale.
Our first time with MTN here in Scottsdale, with many more to come. So super exciting, and what a venue, and what a person that we have on to share this with.
3 people today are going to join us. We are going to be sitting down with our local legend, who's Kaley O'Kelley. A lot of people know her from television. She was on my radio show for a long time. In fact, when Priscilla went on maternity leave, she was the one person I called right away. And I was like, you have to be on the show with me.
Nice.
To which she obliged.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
Also going to sit down with Thew today, who is from Vitalant. And if you don't know what Vitalant does, you will by the end of today's podcast.
What makes Bella Set lingerie so unique? For starters, check out the vast selection and size range. Cups from A to K in styles like balcony, plunge, wireless, strapless, and more, including mastectomy and maternity bras. With superior customer service and free professional fittings, it's the go-to bra shop in the East Valley. Locally owned, with 2 locations in Ahwatukee and Gilbert. Check out our glowing reviews on Google and Yelp. Visit bellasetlingerie.com to learn more.
First and foremost, we're going to sit down with a dude named Eric Greenwald, who I have a long history with, but you have an even longer history with this guy. Tell me about that.
Me and Eric go back out of the gate. I mean, when I moved to Arizona,
which gate? Like
which gate?
Childhood gate?
No, the
college gate.
The college gate.
College gate.
The condo gate that opened that let the cars in.
Yes.
At Papago too, down the street from ASU. We lived in the same complex when I first moved here. So immediate friends. There was there was a group of us that did stuff, hung out, and we'll call it what it was. Yeah, all the time. Baseball. We had the baseball team.
Yep.
We had a baseball team.
Not a very good one.
Not a good one, but we had fun.
I didn't even know you played baseball. What position did you?
I don't play baseball.
Okay, what position did you pretend to play?
I pretend to play outfield.
Okay.
I was fast out there.
I was a baseball player, so I played. I forgot what I played in that league. I probably outfield with him too because it was a younger team.
Yeah.
I was the old guy in the crowd, but then.
Man,
it's kind of interesting.
Well, this guy, Eric, we met maybe
14,
15 years ago. Yeah. You reached out to me when I was on the radio. I remember you, me, and P cracking some pizza together once upon a time. And then we just sort of stayed in touch, which was great.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And now, man, you've launched 3 locations here in Maricopa County, the ProteinHouse, which is really one of my favorite restaurants because I lead and eat an incredibly clean and healthy lifestyle. And it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah. Very good. Yep.
I mean, it's a tremendous spot. And I mean, you've been in the restaurant industry for years and years.
32 years.
32
I started when
years.
I was 3. Hint, joking.
That's good, man.
I started 33 years. Yeah, this will be my 33rd year.
What was the first restaurant you ever worked with?
Well, the
Mastro's,
first ever, like, full time. I started a nightclub in Scottsdale called the Blue Iguana. And if you were here in the 90s, it was the only nightclub. It was it. That was the only place to go.
Really?
Then, so then I got, just humbly, I got brought into the Mastro family. So I was with the Mastros for 10 years. And I helped run all of the bars. They had a bunch of bars called Maloney's, and they had a few other concepts. They had a nightclub and things down in Tucson. So I was kind of all over Arizona and California. And then I was with a multi-chain company for 20 years and was the president of that. And then I got this opportunity, and I came out of that, and I was like, I'm sick and tired of living on an airplane. Time to just live here, be with my kids, and I wanted to get a dog, which I did. And
you did get a dog?
I got a dog.
Okay,
yeah, I got
good.
a great dog, rescue.
What's his name?
Her, Ruby.
Ruby.
And she's
Give
my
her a
world.
shout out to Ruby.
Right, shout out to Ruby. And then I had this opportunity to buy a little Italian concept up in North Scottsdale called Lorenzo's. And then this came about through a mutual friend And we purchased the Gilbert location, and then we purchased the Arcadia in Scottsdale. And I just signed a lease, and I'm about to break ground at ASU. And
that's your alma mater, no?
Yes. And I'm super excited about ASU. I'm super excited about... all this is great, and I'm passionate about restaurants, but I'm super passionate about feeding people, especially kids,
better food.
Yeah.
You know, I'm telling you, and even in my previous life, I was on the board for No Kid Hungry, and I visited places where kids don't eat, where whatever. So the fact that I call it my trifecta. The fact I could obviously make a living, have a lot of fun, but I feed people good food, clean food.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
And this is his day job. His other part-time passion, he's talking about feeding kids. Who he does feed right down the street here, and he's feeding them. Let's talk about that. You're giving them the great nutrition. Let's segue into that.
Yeah.
Do you know he is feeding the high school kids at Notre Dame?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if I kind of from this and my background, it dwarfed into a catering company, which now I have a catering company called Wicked Cool Catering. And so that all started, and it kind of has two arms. The one arm is we do catering, right? We do full catering and I have two of the top chefs, definitely in Arizona, but I mean, just these guys are unbelievable. And so we started just doing regular catering, but I had the opportunity through another close friend to step into Notre Dame and take over who was the caterer for the 21 years that the school's been open. He was retiring. His name is Scott King. It was called King's Catering. And I got this opportunity to walk in there and take over the catering for there, which then dwarfed to St. John's. And then we also do the Thunderbird schools. And so it's growing, and it's like the greatest, it's like a double passion for me. Restaurants, feeding, and then I get to feed kids. Like I would say, put bad gas in a car, the car's not going to run great. You put clean gas in a car, the car runs great. Yeah. It's the same thing with kids.
What do the kids like to eat that you guys provide?
We still feed. I mean, listen, the kids like mac and cheese, and they like that.
Chicken
but what we do is two things. Chef Christopher Brungman, what he did was he allowed us to feed these kids like vegetables, and he has a way of making the vegetables with his knowledge taste good. Mm-hmm. So he'll add a little spice or a little this or and it doesn't change the profile. It's still vegetables, right? These kids are getting their daily allowance of vegetables, but it tastes good. But then anytime we feed them anything else, whether it be like chicken or I buy hormone-free, clean chicken, all natural. We're not buying just the cheapest brand. And with my buying power now, I can buy the better stuff, which usually costs a little bit more at the lower price. So it allows me to have a bigger range and allow me to get cleaner food for these kids. And you can see it. I mean, the kids love it. Even the younger kids. Some of these places, they give them like canned fruit. We have fresh fruit. We get fruit delivered every single day.
Yeah, Mathew, we spent some time, and Eric was telling me a story that literally, you remember when people would duck the cafeteria line at high school? These kids that he's feeding, they're waiting in line for early for their food to come. So he said when they're like missing, they can't wait to get to school to get to food. Now, when was that ever a thing?
Yeah, it makes me want to talk about what did you when you went to high school and you went through your cafeteria? What did you mow down?
No. We were. I must say to SJCI, I'm a St. Joe's Collegiate graduate. We did have good food, but not to the level of what Eric's talking about. ProteinHouse. We had pizza and wings.
Yeah, but
and
wasn't
tacos.
it like that pizza that it had like weird holes in it and fake cheese?
Mine was.
Yeah, mine was the same way, dude.
I've got to be honest. My high school grads and people, alumni listening, would be like, Steve, we actually had good food for high school, but not to this level.
Dude.
Not to this level. No, we weren't waiting in line, to your point. But I will say we were decent. But again, Eric's talking about a different level of healthiness where kids are actually looking forward to the food that they're getting.
Oh, I get what he's saying. I want to talk about what did you used to eat in high school?
Oh, God. I think whatever was Monday got a different sauce on it and was Tuesday. So I think it was like chicken Monday, but then it became like meatloaf on Tuesday.
Then chicken pot pie
then
on
chicken
Friday?
pot, and then it got ground up and put into a pot. Yeah, it was whatever.
It's a disaster.
Yeah, it was.
And I know schools want to do better.
100%.
They just need partners like you. They need people like you who get what's happening and can bring something to the table.
It's super exciting. And really, I mean, it was interesting too, because when we first started, obviously change. Some people are worried about change. And then we were getting parents calling us up and, wow, my kids they love the food. And they're like, thank us, because they're not grocery shopping as much. And the kids are excited about lunch. And I mean, we had a bunch of kids come up to us at the end of the year, and they were like high-fiving Chef Chris because, I mean, it tastes so good. I mean, it's killer.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
What now? Let's talk about the Protein House.
Sure.
What's on the menu that makes you different from other places that are trying to be healthier too? Because I love this new wave of restaurants. It's freaking time.
No, there's some. I mean, listen, Protein House is Protein House. There's some really great, healthy concepts out there. But I will tell you, the one thing that really drew to this, for me, is when I met the group that put this together. When I met Andrew Bick, who's the franchisor.
Got it.
And I met him, and listening to him talk about the food and the passion that he had behind it, and the attention to detail, and I was like it's infectious, and I'm like, I want to be part of that. This is my lifestyle too. I eat healthy, right? Sure, I own an Italian place, and I love a good slice of New York pizza and whatnot, but I just 9 times out of 10, I'm eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. And the way he spoke about it, I was like, I'm in. And then when I used to come here before I even thought about buying it, and I was a
customer first.
Yep, I was a customer first, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah, your enthusiasm is contagious from that, and that leads me to a question I had. I know you're trying to make healthy eating fun and accessible here. Sure. Can you share one of your signature dishes that exemplifies that? Have you created something you'd say, like one thing on this Protein House menu that shares that concept?
Absolutely. So. And remember, we didn't create the franchisor. They created all this. It's a
team.
It's a team, and we're abiding by the rules of franchise.
Let the record show Eric made everything.
Yes, that was
with his own hands.
But that being said, I'll tell you, in all the concepts I've ever been a part of and owned, and worked on and whatnot, that's a really easy question. Here, I'll tell you, man, that's a super hard question, because I can name the breakfast, the lunch, my dinner, and everything else. It's just difficult. The really cool thing about this concept is that no matter what you buy, you can just create whatever you want, in a sense. Like my favorite thing here is that I build a bowl. Okay. So I have a healthy bowl, and every time I build it a little different, and it tastes a lot different, and I know I'm eating healthy and clean, and it's amazing, and it's nonstop. It's endless, and that to me is what's the really cool thing about this.
What's what's the number one? I mean, you like them all, but what's your go-to bowl? When you close your eyes and you're like, today, what's my number one bowl?
Yeah, I build a steak bowl with obviously rice, assortment of vegetables, and our homemade. By the way, all of our sauces are made here from scratch.
Okay.
So our homemade teriyaki, which is just off the charts. And I know that sounds just kind of simple. And it is. It's simple. It's just a steak bowl with vegetables and teriyaki, but that's my go-to bowl. And every time I eat it, I'm full. I'm not stuffed. I feel great. I got extra energy, and I know I just ate something that's really healthy.
Bro, I could eat a bowl every day of the week, twice a day.
I do.
Easily.
Yeah.
Especially in the morning, like add some eggs to that and get it fired up that way.
And they're making them right over here, and the smell here. I mean, I don't know how are we going to hold out for the next hour when we're talking about it.
I came here hungry on purpose.
I know.
So
and then
we're going to hang out. Oh,
there's always the shakes.
There's the shakes.
Talk to me about the shakes.
Well, the assortment of shakes are just unbelievable. You have everything, from this is an acai shake. That I call it the Eric because I kind of make it my own. But our shakes, I mean, they all have protein. Obviously, they're filled, but you can alter the way it's made based on either a dietetic or just your lifestyle. So if you want almond milk or you want certain additives or whatever, we have them. And we could just make it's tailored to what you want.
I want to ask you about the clean eating that is starting to become more and more present, right? Like everything is GMO free and gluten free and vegan. And I mean, there's like a million different things out there.
Sure.
And clearly people are trying to get cleaner with the food that they eat. Talk to me about the folks who walk through the front door here at the Protein House and what feedback you receive after somebody tries their first Protein House meal and they're like, bro, we've been waiting for this our whole life. Because I just have to imagine you hear that every day.
We do. And you know what I hear? Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Like,
nice.
We've been looking for this. Like, we've been waiting for this. And don't get me wrong, we're not, and you know, I always tread carefully on somebody saying, like, gluten-free, and then there's, you know, because there's a lifestyle, and then there's people that really have a medical, you know. And if you're medical, that's a different story, right? If you have celiacs and true, that's a totally different thing.
Totally. Right.
But if your preference or lifestyle is not to eat gluten and you feel better without gluten in your body, we can do that.
Yeah.
You know, if you do have an allergy, we can gear you in the right direction to stay away from that. And the great thing, to answer, kind of go back to what you asked me earlier, Steve, we made healthy food taste great. Okay. And that's what they created, because everything on the menu tastes amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so hard.
An arm and a leg for it.
Yeah. It's why it's so hard to pick, because everything tastes good.
So I was not experienced as you were, Mathew, when I came here. So I was
You'd never eaten at the Protein House
Never eaten at the
before?
Protein House. Never had been in a Protein House. So I'm going to give you my my true assessment.
Please.
When I walked through the doors, it was immediately a lot more than I had imagined.
What do you mean?
It just was. I mean, the smell. The menu. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I was maybe thinking of just a more of a limited menu. I don't know why. Just because I'd never been here. I didn't know the background. And then you know, this is like you're just saying, a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah. And they have great stuff for all the meals. So I was impressed with that. And again, like. And the size, I think it was. I also commented. I think it's a really it's a cozy size, not too small, not too big, kind of that medium size. And in lunchtime that day, the line was out the door. You couldn't even get in.
Well, it's a smart location.
Yeah, it's
right across the street from Mayo.
Right.
You got Whole Foods down the hall. Like, is there a gym close?
Lifetime's across the street. EOS is over there. I mean, you know what? It's
all
so
smart.
But you know what's interesting?
Peeps.
You know what's interesting though? At first, it really was very gym based. I mean, it was. I mean, when they first started, it was really meal prep, and we do meal prep as well. But I'll tell you what was really super interesting. It's changed. Because you'll still see the gym people in here, right? They're coming in. You can see they just worked out. But I'll tell you now, you see two guys in business, attire eating here at lunch. You'll see mom come in with her daughters. You'll see, at 2 or 3 o'clock, you'll see a whole group of Notre Dame, Brophy, Pinnacle. Like, you'll just see all the kids in here eating healthy as well, like the football. And it's everybody now. It's not just the gym rat,
Makes me real happy.
I mean, it smells. I can't describe the smell here. Besides,
what
delicious.
Did you try? Did you try anything?
I did try.
You keep slapping your microphone. I want you to stop slapping.
I know. Sorry, you told me
tried
that.
something.
Especially with the balancing. I tried the peanut butter cookies. I don't know if you'd call that a try.
It's a peanut butter protein ball.
Peanut butter protein
We
ball.
have some right here.
I think
on the camera.
I think I've already eaten like 4 or 5 of them. But I'll go for.
Well, you definitely have your.
I'll go for 6. This is
that?
Yeah. This is half eaten. Yeah. This is.
So talk to me about what's inside of it. Do you know?
A lot of protein. Oh yeah, protein, peanut butter. I mean, it's.
I just love peanut butter, man.
I love peanut. You know what's funny about peanut butter? You love it or you.
I love it.
Yeah, you gotta love peanut
love
butter.
it.
My favorite. Next to that, my favorite, if I have to cheat, is a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Hell yes. Oh, that is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Simple.
I got 4 of them. I
Oh, you definitely have your intake of protein for today.
Yeah. Oh, really? Tell me about how's the protein in there.
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. Okay.
Hey, man, he just runs this place, all right? He's got chefs
Enough,
that are making
right?
these
A lot.
decisions.
A lot.
I wanted to ask you really quick. When we were at Vero Pizza in Awatuki, and I asked the owner of the pizza place the same kind of question. It's like, tell me about the state of employees right now, and how what do you notice about the people you hire?
It's interesting. It depends on the concept.
Okay.
It really does. If you have a concept that's fun, that relates to that age, whatever that age you're going after, I guess the biggest example of that I can give is like Chick-fil-A. You walk into Chick-fil-A, it's a bunch of high school kids, and they're running a $8 million restaurant, and they're all passionate about it because it's fun, and they've good stuff. Here at Protein House, we will attract the healthier lifestyle teenager, I would say your range is probably 19 to, probably in your early 30s. But because of what it is and the client it attracts that same employee. Yeah. And then what's interesting is they're passionate about it, and they want to learn, and they want to learn more. And some of them come in there very knowledgeable already. Some of them are trainers and coaches, whatever, and they get it. Right off the bat. But then, you have other concepts, like the higher end, like the steak 44s and stuff like that. That attracts your more professional server. Sure. And, things like people have been around for a while, because anybody going into the business, they'd be intimidated probably to work somewhere like that.
Did you ever work at a restaurant?
Just pizza places. I grew up in high school. Not a server.
I was a bar back.
You want to hear a crazy statistic? Yeah. 72% of all of Americans' first jobs is in a restaurant.
Is that real?
72%.
I know my daughter's there now.
If you really think about it,
my son works at In-N-Out, right?
We're 100% right here.
Yeah.
Right? My first job. Yeah.
I worked at a donut shop.
Right. I
cleaned the kitchen.
I was a bar back.
Were you?
Yeah.
I would say actually my first job would be paper boy, because back then,
absolutely,
the paper boy was a job. You had to collect. Do you remember?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You had to go knock on the doors. I had to go knock on the doors. Now we're getting way off topic, but I had to go. I had to literally knock on the doors, and a 12-year-old would have to get money from people who owed sometimes weeks, and you'd have to chase them down. You were like, it was hilarious.
Excuse me, Mr. Greenwald, can I get my
that was how it was like the first thing, but then you're a kid, and then it's like, just give me my money. I'm delivering the paper in the snow. You better pay up.
So here we go. Let's wrap up. So we got the 4th location on the way on the campus at ASU.
Yeah.
When do you expect that to be something that's functional, or is that a?
I'm hoping. Well, they're a little behind on permitting and whatnot,
sure.
But we were hoping to be open in October. That didn't happen, obviously, or not going to happen. But so we're hoping to be open probably end of Q1, Q2 next year. And we are. The buzz already is. Signs are going up soon. But the buzz already, because we're talking about it, and I have my son. He's going to be going, and his girlfriend goes to ASU. So there's a ton of his friends that are already at ASU, and they're all talking about it already. I'm getting text messages from parents. Can my kid work at ProteinHouse when it opens? So, we're super excited.
It'll be a big deal down there, though.
I know that. Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for having us here to record our podcast.
Thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
appreciate it.
It's so great to see you.
Amazing venue. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
All right, that's Eric Greenwald. We're going to let him go. He's going to take his kid to football tonight.
Yeah, he's got a game. My younger son plays for Pinnacle. And the JV plays tonight against ALA Queen Creek.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got to drive down to Queen Creek right now.
Oh, boy.
What position does he play?
He's a slot receiver.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Inside receiver.
Okay, sounds good. I don't know anything about
football.
Grab
a touchdown.
Yeah. Do you grab a touchdown?
You can grab and run.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Grab and run.
Yeah.
Slot guy.
I'll send you the clips.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Mathew.
So great to see you, man. I'm so happy for you,
All right, bud.
man.
Thank you.
Thanks,
awesome.
Coming up next, we're going to welcome the communications manager and the public and media relations manager for Vitalant. Now, I have known this woman for 15 years. As a matter of fact, when I moved to Arizona, so they flew me out in Arizona February. By March, I started working at the radio station. And I had a gentleman named Smokey Rivers who called me up. And he said, Mathew, I had been on the radio for 2 days. He said, Mathew, we've got this event coming up with United Blood Services, and they need a host for X, Y, and Z. Would you do it? And I said, absolutely. And then that's where I met Sue.
Wow.
Now they've changed their name as of a few years ago to Vitalant, and Sue is still with the company. You've been with the company for how long?
36 years, 37 years. I'm losing track.
That's
37 years she's
I don't
been
believe
doing this.
that. Because I don't believe you could be that old.
Oh, I started a course when I was 12.
I was going to say.
When you're in a pinch me kind of job where you just, you're doing wonderful things to help people all day long, it's just, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a ProteinHouse before? Is this your first time?
I haven't, but I was just looking at the menu, and I definitely am going to get dinner to go from here tonight.
There it is.
We can't wait.
So do you, look at you guys. Look at the
I was
purple
waiting
and
for the
purple.
comment.
Yeah.
I said this was not planned. I had just picked out this shirt, and then I remembered It's a
Vitalant's gonna be
Vitalant.
here.
I'm on Team Vitalant.
Yeah,
Here it is.
absolutely. We're so glad to have you.
You know,
Thank you. I'm
This
glad
year,
to be here.
Vitalant asked me to be a part of their Community Leadership Council, and now I sit on that Community Leadership Council, which I'm so happy about because I love what these guys do. Sue, will you explain what Vitalant is for people that don't understand what you guys are all about?
Well, Vitalant is Arizona's largest nonprofit community blood provider. So basically the way it works is hospitals choose one blood provider or another to meet their transfusion needs for their patients. And in Arizona, the majority of the hospitals have chosen Vitalant. We were founded right here in Arizona in the Valley of the Sun in 1943. We've been here 80 years, and we work every day to find 500 blood donors to roll up their sleeves to provide blood to more than 80 hospitals throughout the Southwest. And when you take Vitalant as a whole nationwide, actually we're serving about 900 hospitals in 28 states.
Holy smokes.
I mean, it's amazing how large that is, actually.
Well, and you think about it, you said a number there, you said 500. Now, is that the number of donations you need in a day to sustain, or does 500 a day help you overachieve a little bit?
It's actually 600 a day, and that's what we need to just keep going and to meet the needs of the patients. And what may surprise you to learn is we work on about our ultimate goal is to have a 4-day supply of blood on hand. And can you imagine that of any organization just looking 4 days out, but because of the shelf life of blood, it's critical that 600 people give blood every single day, because you can't wait until someone you know is in a hospital bed. It's the blood already on the shelves that saves lives in emergencies.
So I want to ask her a couple of questions, and I have some insider information, but
Sure.
I want to get this information out to our audience.
Yeah.
Where is the current blood supply right now?
Well, right now we're coming off of the Labor Day holiday. We've done a pretty good job of rebuilding blood supplies over holiday weeks. Blood donations dropped dramatically because it's hard for organizations to host blood drives during shortened work weeks. So right now we're right about where we need to be, except for type O blood. It seems like type O is the type that we're always short on because it's the universal blood type, and only 9% of the population has O negative, which is the true universal blood type.
So anybody can take that blood.
Anybody can take that blood. So emergencies and also pregnant women, because they don't know the blood type of their baby, they have to have O negative.
These little things you don't think about,
You
right?
don't think about it. It's like there are babies all the time, even prenatally, that need to have transfusions. And when you think about your blood has the right amount of blood for your weight, imagine a little tiny fetus or baby, how much blood they would have. You can't even risk doing a blood type test on an infant so small because that's too much of their blood to take.
Right. So they have to get the O. What's the most common blood type?
So actually, there's 8 blood types. 4 of them, 4 of them are
Did you know that?
positive.
No.
Yep. 4 of them are positive and 4 of them are negative.
So there's A positive, A negative.
AB.
So A positive is the most common blood type. O positive is a close second, and O is almost as universal as O negative, the O positive. So O positive can go to any positive blood type, but you can't use it when you don't know the blood type because positive cannot go to a patient with negative blood. So within those, there's O, A, B, and AB, and within each of those there's a positive and a negative, and it's all about how the blood mixes together. So negative donors are very, very rare, so we're always looking for people with negative blood types to donate because that's all those patients can receive.
Homeboy here has turned into a donor.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm a newbie, honestly, and we'll talk about that because I was one of just the people that, for whatever reason, just felt a little nervous giving blood. I'll just say.
I think that's normal, Steve.
It's normal,
There's a lot of people out there that get a little apprehensive when it comes to the, giving blood and needles and all the things that come with it. I think that's okay to talk about.
And so the path of least resistance was just to kind of walk by. But I will say, I've always admired, the tenacity in no matter
my
what.
grandfather gave religiously. He had it on his calendar.
Yeah.
The next day he could give, he did.
That's what I'm talking about. The people that are involved and they're doing it. And then I was invited to a blood drive by a good friend. He said, and I told him about my apprehension. He said, just come by. And they have a food truck. They make an event of it. There's clients there. It was something that I basically took almost the whole afternoon off of work. And I did it, and I really enjoyed the experience. It was a very positive experience. And so since then, I've done it twice. So I'm that new. I mean, I'm within a year and a half. And so I've learned to that's my day. I decide to do it if I get invited, and I kind of take it as almost like a day off. It's kind of like a reason to kind of, you got to take it easy afterwards, right?
It's a good self-love, self-care piece.
Yeah.
And you're giving back. And so it kind of leads me to my next question for you, which is, there must be some incredible stories that you have over 37 years of people that have donated blood and received it.
Yes. There are, but before I share a story with you, I just have to say, is you hit the nail on the head that it's a feel-good thing. Back when I first worked for the blood bank, my mom wasn't a donor, and I had long given up trying to get her to donate. And one day she just showed up at a blood drive and donated. And I said, "What gives? This is the first time I never asked you."
Yeah.
And she said, I read she was going through a hard time with a breakup in a relationship at the time, and she said, "I read in the paper today that when you're feeling down, you should seek somebody else out and help them, because it does two things for you. One is it puts your own problems in perspective, and the other is that it makes you feel good to do something nice for someone else." And so really, when you donate blood, you're doing a favor for yourself in addition to helping save the life of that patient who's on the receiving end of your gift.
Saving lives, I say that. I mean, that's why I was so excited to have you on. Move the needle. We're obviously having people, companies that are involved in the community that are making a positive impact in so many different ways. But we talk about saving lives.
This
is about the top of the pyramid. I mean, right? I mean, this is, and so I appreciate that. I mean, this is really important to us. I know having this type of impactful people on here and getting that message out, especially before the holidays, and how important it is. And I'll speak out. I mean, this is truthful. Again, some of the people out there doing these drives are making it fun. It's a communal event. It's breaking bread, talking to friends. A lot of them sponsor food truck. A lot of them do that. Sponsor foods. It's a popular thing, and so I encourage people, again, if you're on the sidelines on it, give it a shot. I think as apprehensive as I was, and if you hear it in my voice, I'm 180. I can't wait for the next one to. It's
next time we podcast, you're giving blood.
Yes, okay,
Done.
That's good. We're gonna talk. We got some things up our sleeves on that.
Is that a pun intended?
Pun, no pun, pun. Yeah, exactly.
He brought up a good point. We're headed into the holidays.
We are. And what
happens during the holidays?
That's the most difficult time of the year to maintain the blood supply, because the more that people get engulfed into holiday planning and time off work and travel, the less priority they make about donating blood. And then it's also at a time when Arizona's population is at its highest because of all the winter visitors.
Snowbirds, yeah.
So, you have some people who can't donate blood because they're currently battling a cold or flu. You have others that just don't have the time. You have all these extended holiday weeks. So we get into the perfect storm of blood shortages, especially the week between Christmas and New Year's. And because blood has a shelf life of 42 days, we can start building blood in November to make sure that we're getting through the holiday season. So make that your first gift that you take care of, is go donate blood before you get too busy, and then it'll be there for the patients who are spending their holidays in the hospital.
And it might even be there for you.
It might be.
It might even be there for you when you need it.
Well, I've actually, since I've worked for Vitalant, I've had 3 immediate family members that have required blood transfusions. And the first one was my dad, when on Christmas Eve one year, about 20 years ago, he had a heart attack and was rushed to the hospital
on Christmas Eve?
Oh, during the lowest week of the year for blood donations. He went through an emergency quadruple bypass surgery And during his surgery and the 4 weeks that followed, my dad required 15 blood transfusions. He required red blood cells, he required plasma, and he required platelets, which are all 3 separate components. And because of those blood transfusions, my dad lived another 1.5 years. And, you know, it's so priceless. When you think about having time with people that we care about is the most important thing. And it's just something so simple. You just roll up your sleeve and you know, 5 to 10 minutes is the donation. The rest of the time you're getting a free mini physical and having refreshments and visiting with other donors. It's so easy, but it makes such a difference for people. And it truly, there's no substitute. People live because other people donate blood.
I said this at the high school luncheon, which I MC every year for Vitalant, and this year I lost my best friend to a cancer trial, and he required a few transfusions that kept him around for a few more days so that I could visit with him.
It gave you a chance to say goodbye.
Gave me a chance to say goodbye.
Amazing.
Right? Like, that's the thing. And that's why you hit the nail on the head earlier. Like, this isn't just some charity doing good stuff. They're literally keeping people alive.
Yeah.
There's so many big stories of people who give blood. And one of the cool things that is available to people, and I want your clarity on this, is sometimes if you give blood and you want to know who it went to, y'all can work that out, right?
Sometimes we can. So the first thing for every donor, when you donate your blood, it gets processed and tested and all of that, and then it goes and it waits on the shelves for the match to the right patient. And donors get a text when their blood is on the way to the hospital to help a patient. And I hear from donors all the time about how meaningful that is, because even though you're donating and in the back of your mind you know it's going to somebody, to know the actual day and moment that it's on its way to the hospital to save someone's life is a very rewarding feeling. And so it's just so important to do. And then what Matt's referring to is that, you know, what ends up happening occasionally when we have special events and we can work so far ahead of time, sometimes we can match patients up with their recipients. And we kind of do it secret, a lot of time for the kids. And their parents will get the unit numbers from those blood donations. And then we can look them up in our system and contact the donors. And on a number of occasions at special events, we have surprised some of our recipients by meeting their blood donors. And I know that Mathew's thinking about Mia, is a young girl that we worked with for many years. She had a rare disease called diamond black fan anemia, which meant that her blood did not produce her own red blood cells. And so every 3 to 4 weeks, she would have to go to the hospital and receive blood. Oh, she had hundreds of transfusions. And she came and shared her story at our biggest event of the year. And we were able to surprise her with 36 of her donors on stage.
Imagine.
And one of them turned out to be one of our own employees, another one a former employee. I mean, it's like just such a small world. Yeah. And for those donors to look into the eyes of a young girl who was alive because of their donation, it was such a special moment. And I'm happy to give an update on Mia. Finally, she was able to undergo a bone marrow transplant about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago. She's now cured, she's going to college, and she's able to have a normal life. But hundreds of donors kept her alive until she could get to that point.
Wow.
Isn't that a great story?
Well, I'm just sitting here, I'm like, when you said, like, can you imagine that happening? I'm like, no, but if that happened, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, just look around the room and be and say, like, I'm here because of these people, and be able to look them in the eye is pretty powerful. Yeah, I imagine that.
Sue, what's the best way for people to find a blood drive as we kind of wind down with you today? What's the easiest way to get involved?
It's so simple. You just go to vitalant.org. That's Vitalant.org. Click on donate. And then you can search for donor centers or blood drives that are by zip code or city. So you can find a location in your neighborhood. We have 7 Valley Donor Centers. We do about 20 blood drives every day across Arizona. So it's easy to find a location, make an appointment. That helps you get in and out more quickly. And then it's important that you remember to drink plenty of water leading up to your donation, eat a meal. Also, bring your ID if it's your first time donating blood, and then just spend about an hour at Vitalant. And actual donations only 5 to 10 minutes. But the rest of the time, really great things are happening, like free mini physicals and all the juice and cookies you can eat. And I have to tell you, I learned this really incredible stat. Like when you donate a pint of blood, you lose a pound. And your body has to burn 400 calories regenerating that blood. So
it's like exercising.
Yeah,
it's like
exercising.
It's kind of like getting an extra workout in. Yeah,
We're not going to call this a diet, but
it's a workout. Call it a workout. You might as well.
It can be helpful.
Yeah.
Sue, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Remember, Vitalant.org or Vitalant app, or just Google us.
And I'm sure with the holidays coming up, it's probably like everybody, our audience out there, let's be hyper focused and vigilant and take a look at the website and see. There's got to be a lot more going on, right, during the holidays?
Absolutely.
Okay, exciting. So,
all right.
Yeah, thank you for what you do.
Sue, I will see you at our next meeting, I'm sure.
You will.
And I look forward to everything we're getting ready to accomplish together in the next 10, 15 years. It's going to be incredible.
Well, thank you so much. And at our next meeting, we're going to award a brand new car to a blood donor.
I know. Isn't
so
that
I'm
cool?
excited to tell you more about that. We had a new car donated to us that we've been drawing finalists all summer, and Mathew will be there to see who wins.
It's going to be cool, man.
All right.
I hope it goes to the kid. I hope it goes to the team.
Look forward to the update.
Amazing.
I want to see. Give me the update on that. I look forward to that.
All right.
Thank
Sue,
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Sue.
evening.
Thank you for coming.
It's such an important thing that people can do, and it's such a little thing that somebody can do and feel so freaking good about, right?
Well, I feel better that I'm part of it now. I must admit that. I do. I'm part of the club.
You're part of the club, man.
I'm part of the club.
What a cool thing.
And it was again like it was easy once I made that step.
Yes.
It was.
All right. I'm bringing her in. I'm waving her in right now. We're going to sit down with our local legend. She is a 6-time Emmy-Award-winning journalist. She is a self-professed weather fanatic. She loves television. We met 14 years ago when I was on Mix 96.9, and she was leading the ensemble cast of Good Morning Arizona. Kaley O'Kelley, my friend, has worked regularly on the Weather Channel and Good Morning America on the weekend. In 2018, she, I believe, came back to Phoenix from a short stint in Texas. She's a proud member of the Native American Journalists Association, the American Meteorological Society, and the National Weather Association. On weekends, you will find her riding bikes and exploring places outdoors with her 2 children. She also enjoys water skiing, camping, reading, cooking, attending concerts. Her favorite band is Mount Joy, which I'm sure she's going to talk about here in a second. And her other favorite thing is to sit down and watch some football.
Well, I'm excited to meet her. Me just being on the other side, have been just a fan. I mean, I've been in Arizona 30 years. So let's say maybe going back 15 years, I remember seeing Kaley for the first time.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know about her her journey, but we're going to talk about that.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi,
She
how
is
are
the
you?
greatest.
Nice to meet you.
This is
Nice
one
to
of
meet
my
you as
favorite
well.
people in the whole world. Hi.
Right back at you.
I'm
How
so
are you?
happy you came up.
I am so happy to be here. My kids are thrilled too.
And they're eating ProteinHouse
Oh, yeah.
food. They're
Oh,
stoked about that.
Right? They're stoked about that. They're like, oh my gosh, they have these brownie bites? And they're so good here.
You want a peanut butter ball?
I just mowed through about 3 of them.
Oh, so me and you are on the same team.
Right on.
Team peanut butter.
Right
I
on.
love
Yes,
that.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So it's so fun to sit down with somebody that you get to watch on TV all the time, because people feel like they know you, right? You get that. I got that a lot on the radio. You must get it all the time.
Well, that's nice. Well, yeah, day one, I started listening to you. I'm like, I know this guy. And then I got to know you.
And then you did get to know me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We go way
Love it.
back. Do you remember? I mean, she's worked for a couple of different stations. Now you're on ABC 15.
Yes, in
we
the morning.
We get to watch you every morning. What's the greatest thing about the culture there in that station? Because, just like radio stations, we tend to go to different stations because there's a little bit of an upgrade happening over there. A little bit of a better situation, maybe better management, maybe better, host, maybe better promotions team. What was the special sauce that brought you there that made you want to, sign?
Well, there's a lot of things. I started there when I first came to Arizona
Did
in
you really?
2003. Yeah, so actually I started in Yuma. Santa Barbara, and then was brought to Arizona by a man by the name of Bob Sullivan. You might know him. He's done a ton of things here in the Valley, but he was the first news director I ever worked with. A wonderful person. Was there for, 6 or 7 years. Then I went to Channel 3, went to Dallas, and then I was actually going to get out of the business, and the general manager there, Anita Hell, is wonderful, and gave me a call and said, "Are you really getting out of TV?" And I said, "I don't know, am I?" And so, oddly enough, we're actually from the same town, went to the same high school at different times. I know, isn't that weird? Yes. Which is really, just kind of a coincidence.
It's supposed to be.
Kind of a coincidence.
Call it what it is.
But you just, the thing about ABC 15 is, and no disrespect to the other stations, because I've had just such
everybody's
great
running their
luck,
race.
right?
Yeah.
We do things a little bit different. When I say that, I'm going to give you an example. I just got back from the Sholo, Pine Top, Lakeside area, and
oh yeah, that's right. That's what we were texting.
Exactly,
last, right?
exactly.
She's like, I'm up in Sholo, working remotely. I was like,
yes, I'll hang out with you, absolutely.
Nice.
So we are doing a project called Voice of the Voter, and it was a road trip. I was day 6. And the project is, we have an ABC 15 soapbox. Like, it's a literal soapbox. And we put a microphone up. People walk up to this soapbox, and they talk about what they want, what they're looking for in political candidates, state and federal. And it's just been so awesome to get out across the state and hear what voters really want. And it varies from city to city to city to city, vastly. But I had the experience of being able to go up into the White Mountains, Navajo Nation. I'm Native American.
We talked about it as you were walking in, that you're a proud member of the Native American Journalists Association.
Yes, yeah. I am. Yeah. So just to be able to have the opportunity to visit with these people, and not the Valley is wonderful to be able to do that, but also just to get out across the state and talk to people who have called Arizona home forever.
So I've got a question. You talked about her heritage. How is your heritage that Native American? What intrigues me is how has that affected your journalism? Is that? Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Oh my gosh, you are giving me chills. I had to do
a little homework when I have, again, I've been on the other side. I was a fan going back 15 years ago, and I'm like, I got to do some homework on her.
That's really nice.
Tell me about that.
Well, the way I was raised, and you and I have talked about energy and things like this. I feel blessed.
There have been tears when
Lots
Kaley
of
and
tears.
I talk. We go there.
Deep. We go deep.
The mental game. I know the mental game.
But when you when you're Native, I believe there's a real responsibility in so many ways, and especially there's 22 Native tribes here in the state of Arizona, right? I feel like there's a real responsibility to make sure we represent all people, and that does include Native, Indigenous people. So often we do feel forgotten. And like people of all, ethnicities.
Sure.
Close to my heart, though, obviously, are the Indigenous people. And when you talk about being on any reservation lands, right? There are a different set of laws. People don't know that. A lot of people
totally different.
They don't. I mean, we were driving from Sholo back to the Valley last Friday night. It was late. My producer and I, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, it's so dark here," and we were approaching Scottsdale. So if you think about it, that line between, the 101 freeway where the casinos are, compared to where the city is, that alone, like if you're up above or you see drone video, that alone tells the story, right? Mm-hmm. We have a lot more room to grow. And being in a newsroom and being able to ask a lot of questions of people, that to me is one of the greatest things I get to do.
So cool. My wife's Cherokee Indian.
Did not know that.
Yeah. It's in the lineage. I don't know what your tribe, the tribe.
Hunk Papasu and Cherokee.
Okay, all right.
We got that fire.
We got that fire.
Sorry.
Speaking of politics, and we're not going to talk about this the way you think.
How do you know?
You obviously have an opinion yourself on the state of the world. So my question is, and I wrote this down, and so I'm going to read it because I want to get it right. What is it inside of you that allows you to present the news in a way that nobody would be able to tell how you're going to vote in November?
I'm a centrist. And I find it really entertaining when someone says, you're a liberal or you're a conservative. These are the greatest compliments that I get. I mean, it's painful to read some of the emails,
Because people they read into it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and deep. But when people guess, it actually inside, like if it's not too mean, It cracks me up because it makes me know that, because you have to walk the line. And I am very lucky in that I work with a group of people who truly are centrists. And right? If someone's, leaning left, someone's leaning right. Sure. I mean, I have values and morals that lean either one way or another, right? That truly are centrist. And that's how. But I will say this. It is so difficult right now for me to see how divided we are.
It's ugly.
It's uncomfortable. And one of the things that I noticed, I'm sorry I keep bringing it up, but this voice of the voter thing was so awesome. One of the things that I found so refreshing in Show Low and the White Mountains,
Say it.
they didn't want to hurt each other's feelings. They didn't want to.
More central.
They are. They lean into each other. They don't. They didn't tell me, quote, who they were voting for. They used the word either. They used the words either he or she. And I mean, I was trying. I'm like, just. And I started to ask, like, well, why are you basically being so polite about it? We want to keep our friends.
Yeah.
That's where we are right now.
Wow.
And don't you guys remember when we could say, I'm going to vote for this person or that? It was just okay.
You bring up the word centrist, and honestly, not to just jump on that bandwagon. I consider myself the same way. I've never truly. I'll say it here.
I think most people are.
I was just going to say that now.
I'll say that most people are. It's in my opinion, this country has been hijacked by the very extreme on one side or the other.
Yes.
And they are taking up so much of the airspace.
Yes.
But really, the airspace is owned by the people in the middle. Everybody else here that gets along just fine.
We have to remember that.
Yeah. It's like we're the people in the middle are the biggest number.
That's called being an American.
I think so.
Well,
Yeah.
we're trying to raise our kids.
Yeah, thank you.
In a world that isn't so chaotic and so crazy. And it kind of leads me to my next question for you, which is, what is the best part of parenting for you? And then the part B to that is, and how do your kids do with a well-known mom?
Oh my gosh. Well, first, I just have to say this. My son, who's not far from where I am, and my daughter is watching right now, they both are giggling. My son said, "Mom, you're a legend," and I'm like, "Stop!"
Yeah.
So they actually tease me.
Good.
They're really
Cute.
they don't watch me on TV, which I like. So
Not too many teenagers are watching.
right.
the
I
news
mean, I'm not a
anyways,
big deal
right?
to them. I'm their mom. And what was that? The other question?
The B is like, and how do they do with a well-known mom?
Okay, so when you're on the news between 4:30 and 7 a.m., when people or if people do recognize me, they recognize my voice because people listen to morning news. But they just go with it. My kids are just kind of
Part of their life. Huh?
Oh yeah, you just bring them along. You know what I mean?
I always felt like, and it doesn't happen quite as much anymore since I've gotten off the air, but like I would be in situations, maybe go to a Cardinals game or a Coyotes game or something like that.
Well, you didn't just go to a Coyotes game.
You're right, I worked there. But you'd be in the building and you'd be there with your family, but then you'd get recognized and somebody would want to have like, a 3 or 4 or 5 minute conversation, and your kids are just kind of forced to stand there politely and endure it.
How did they endure it, or how do they endure that?
I mean, I
they
think
just
it was
hang.
fine, right?
Yeah,
they just sort of chilled and
just
smiled.
part of the deal. Yeah. But I mean, it doesn't happen very often. So I'm not saying, no, it doesn't happen very often. When it does, sometimes, especially when my daughter was a little younger, she's 11 now, she would just pull my arm and say, "Mom, come on, we gotta go." I'm like, "I'm sorry."
No shame.
kids,
Time
man.
to
There's
go.
no shame in right when they're kids.
Yeah.
So
Obviously, I learned about your kind of journey around from like
That
you
is
said,
so
Yuma,
sweet.
Yuma to Santa Barbara to what I call the Big D. One of my best friends lives in Dallas. Okay, my question is this, a little lighthearted. What food did you most miss in Arizona? Because I know you're so
Oh my
happy to get
gosh.
back. And come on, you got one. In what restaurant did you miss when you were in Dallas? Which one?
So
Tell me.
easy, and it's in Yuma, the chili pepper.
Okay, there we go.
The machaca and egg burrito. I still miss it.
Okay, so you're still missing because you're away.
I'm gonna
Oh
go
my
next
God,
time.
you
So
Avenue B, you
when
have
you
to
were
go.
in Dallas, you were thinking that's what you were thinking.
Almost every day.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, the Dallas job it kind of came out of nowhere. I was looking for a raise at my current job, and then the kid's dad had lived in Dallas, loved Dallas. Well, you should just go and interview. Well, not in a million years did I think I was going to get offered a job.
Right.
And then
People are nice
And
there.
a great job too. It was a great job.
I mean, I was a main anchor at the CBS
That's
station.
amazing.
It's a good job. It's a good gig.
It was a network job, right?
Market 5? Is it Dallas 5?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's big.
And it was incredible. However, for me, the schedule was really difficult. My kids were really little.
Okay.
I was going to work when they were coming home from like preschool. It was killing me. So that schedule at that time in my life was not easy. And when you're the main anchor, it's not like you're just kind of, winging it. I mean, you are involved, right?
Head honcho.
Everything. You're in all the marketing meetings. You're in all the prep meetings.
Yeah.
You're in all the meetings that any kind of decision is being made.
Yes.
You got to be there.
And I am so grateful for that opportunity. And I learned so much in Texas. They were so good to us.
So those people are so nice. I mean, I got a chance to experience it. Genuinely, one of the nicest people. Dallas is one of the places I could move to, not because of the weather, but because of the people. I've got a chance to spend a decent amount of time working there.
How cool.
Back and forth. And so, one of my best friends owns energy deregulated there. My ex-partner started a power company, Power Brokers. And
the power game there is different.
It's huge. It's deregulated. That could be a whole conversation on energy for sure, but I got to go back and forth. The people are amazing.
Sounds riveting.
The people are amazing. But now the one thing, of course, when you talk about Kaley, everyone talks about the weather. She's the weather.
She is
the weather fanatic. Okay, so I
don't play that on TV though.
No, but I cooked up a couple. Doozies.
Okay.
So if you wouldn't mind asking, so if you were tell me a situation where a weather pattern you were in the most unique weather pattern struck you that it affected your reporting.
Oh, are you talking about like flooding?
I mean, anything. Have you ever been the crazy guy in the weather channel?
Yes.
I was actually with Jim.
That's what I'm trying to say. Tell me.
Okay, so, I was just sharing this with actually Ashley DiMartino, who I just saw on ABC 15 just now. But so when I first came to Phoenix, I was getting my meteorology degree. I wasn't a meteorologist yet. So I get sent to get some street cred right here in Arizona to cover Hurricane Ivan. Okay.
Oh, sounds fun.
Ivan was an insane storm.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we started, this is like 2005 or 2006, something like that. We started in Tampa, I believe, and then we followed this storm. And I'm thinking, this is no big deal. This is fine. They're shutting everything down, and we're having to sign like hold harmless agreements to stay in these hotels. And there's like, bugs, and I mean, you're getting eaten alive, right? So we get up into the Panhandle. We're in Pensacola at this point. I'm on the phone every night with my parents. My dad's like, why do you do this to us? I'm like, why are you? I didn't have kids. I'm like, let's go. I'll do it. No, truly, I was the weirdo. Like, she's nuts, right? It was insane. So we go to this condo building, and it's like a, 12-story high building. And this guy comes out, sees me doing these live shots on the pier, like storm surge. I don't know how high it was. I mean, it was probably 10 feet high. You knew it was going to come in fast, okay, and hard. But I'm like, hey, could we hunker down in here? I mean, CNN was all camped out there. Would you mind if we, just kind of hunker down in your unit? They're like, well, I mean, you can, but we're getting out of here. And so then this other guy comes out and he's like, I'm going to give you my phone number just in case things get crazy. Well, things got crazy. I look over during my live shot. I see like a ceiling tile flying behind me. My boss gets in my ear. Guys in Phoenix, Bob Sullivan's like, get out of there. Get out of there. I look over. CNN's ripping up all their cables, right? It was insane. I'm like, where are we going to go? So I called the guy. The guy has this old building. It had been through so many hurricanes, Pensacola, Florida. It did stand, right? Windows were being sucked, because it's pressure. Windows were being sucked in. Glasses flying everywhere during the storm. And the next day we went back. I'll send you the video. We went back to the place where we were going to go live. It was gutted. We wouldn't have made it.
Taken out, probably.
We would not probably. We wouldn't have made it.
Wow. So there you go. It
gives me chills. I haven't thought about that part in a long time.
Wow. Yeah, amazing. I mean, when you're chasing weather. I mean, anything goes, right?
Mama Nature.
Mother Nature, right?
She don't care.
She don't care.
I knew she had a good story like that. She had to if she's following the weather.
This is fun.
Have you ever had a really uncomfortable interview on television?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. With who?
It's a celebrity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Howie Mandel.
Ooh. I totally get that. I had a really awkward interview with Howie Mandel.
He's a nice person.
Totally awesome. Very funny, but it's really kind of like...
hit or miss. Yeah. I asked him about, I did some research, and I always like to ask something kind of quirky and fun. but he didn't like my question, and it was something about hand washing. Because I like to wash. I like to wash my hands a lot.
She's OCD.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't. Maybe he misread it because I kind of am as well with washing my hands. I'm like COVID. I'm like, yeah, let's wash our hands, right? He didn't like it, but that's all right.
It's okay.
You gotta
It was uncomfortable. There was another one too, but
okay.
Well, we're not talking.
We're not talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So are we still having fun? Because I have another weather.
Yes, bring it.
Okay,
Bring it on.
I've got one last question.
Okay,
for
so this is okay. This is okay. Which one should I do? Okay, your superhero. Okay, your superhero alter ego. Okay.
Oh.
Your weather. You're a superhero. Okay. For a day, what powers would you want to wield over controlling storms, predicting natural disasters, or influencing the weather? How would you use those powers to save the world?
Oh my gosh, this is such a great question, but I will tell you, and I'm going to go serious on you.
Okay, go. That's why I asked it.
I would like to be able to influence the weather, and with this heat. Okay.
Amen.
Like, let's change it, and to go real serious on you, the number of unhoused people who are dying this year is
500 in a day. I've heard at times.
Well, there are so many cases that we have heat-related deaths. We have hundreds of cases
in a summer.
Yeah, in the summer, hundreds of people have passed away just this summer.
And the highest numbers this year.
Yep.
Like we already blew last year out of the water.
Out of the water.
We blew the year before that out of the water. And the year before that, it was like not even in the hundreds.
Right.
And now we're north of 600.
So much of that has to do with our homeless population. 90% of these people, 90% of the deaths are the unhoused. And it's incredibly tragic.
That was serious, but to put a cartoon spin on it, so you'd be in Arizona, you'd be that Mr. Freeze, Mr. Freeze.
Yes, exactly. That would be me.
She'd be like,
so there
big
you go.
muscles,
there you go.
No hair.
We got that.
Cape.
That's what I was going for. She wants me. Everyone saw
and I talk
that.
like this.
Everyone saw that. She wants to be Mrs. Freeze. I love it.
That works for me.
Coolest
get
down.
out here. Let me fix that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, these are fun questions.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
that. Again, I had.
What would yours be?
Yeah.
What was my? You know what? I was thinking about this because
As
I'm
nature?
pounding somebody. Listen. I'm thinking of somebody who's crazy about the weather, and I'm just not. And I'm like, how do I deal with this? I love the weather every day. I love sunny days.
What would your superhero do?
Yeah. But it wouldn't. My superhero wouldn't have if it was to be the weather. I'm just what I'm saying. I do not even know. I don't know.
I know what I would do.
What?
I would go, poof, and there'd be a lake.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, you are from Minnesota.
So now
right?
you're building lakes.
I mean, that makes sense.
Now, geez,
Right?
why?
Amazing.
Okay, but I'll build mountains.
Yeah.
It'd be incredible.
It doesn't have to be the weather. I want to know what it is.
Okay, okay, for me, I would build more beaches.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a beach guy. I mean,
Hand
we
in
need more
hand.
beaches, yeah.
Beach sounds nice to me.
Say if you're cooling it down, I'd make a little beach.
That's
and
good.
And everybody would.
Temps in the mid to upper 70s.
Yes.
Yeah, light
This
breeze.
is the new tri-superhero.
I like
factor,
this.
right?
I love it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we need some capes.
Final question on the podcast, unless you have one more.
No.
How often is it business up top and party on the bottom as a newscaster?
Well, I've got flip-flops on right now. So, I mean, I'm casual by nature. So now we wear dresses because we're on the set. But when we were at home during COVID, it was shorts and
Was
like
it?
a shirt that might be
Yeah.
suitable for television. And my kids were so little at the time, they were typically sleeping, with a pillow and their blanket at my feet during the morning show.
Incredible.
It was crazy, but it was wonderful.
She is the real one. I have just.
I
am the
love
biggest
this interview.
fan.
Like I said, being a flight, I can remember. I literally probably can remember your face, probably like in 2010.
That is so sweet.
really
Well, hopefully
remember
it
that.
hasn't changed too much.
No,
There is some
I remember
Botox
your-
in there.
I
Maybe a
remember
little
your
filler.
face. I mean, your face has not changed.
You're so
sweet.
sweet.
Honestly.
Thank you.
No,
I've been
it's-
watching
that
the
means everything to me.
I've been
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
The Golden Bachelor.
Haven't
There's-
you?
There's a lot of filler going on
Right?
there, so don't worry about
I know. But that's a fun show to watch.
it. It is amazing.
It is.
It is 1,000 times. No, listen to me.
I'm off of it.
I'm telling you.
I can't stand The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. That whole thing, I'm so over it. My
Yeah.
wife loves it so much.
Well, it's what we
But
girls
the
do.
Golden Bachelor is so real.
Oh.
And
Yes.
these guys they're past all the BS, and they're just in it for the
I mean,
real
they
thing.
Oh, they're trying to get really
Fine.
loved. It's
No, they are. They
Oh,
are.
it's real. Okay.
It's real.
Oh, maybe I'll dial
You're
in.
giving me goosebumps.
I haven't
It's so
found
sweet.
Okay.
So sweet.
I haven't found anything like that, so maybe
It's
that's-
worth
that's what
watching. I
need.
couldn't get my dad to, dial into it, but that's okay.
A lot of people will have a hard time just because it's The Bachelor, but I'm telling you, the Golden is just
it's
so
amazing.
sweet.
Yeah. Even if you don't want to say you're watching it, you might want to just like walk by and it's good.
We watched it last night. I laughed the whole time.
I'll try for sure.
I even got choked up a couple of times.
I know when you got choked up. That's when I got choked up.
Which one?
When the guy comes on, he was crying and just saying, I hope it works out with Joan, but if it doesn't, I'm going to give myself a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Or is it sap for love?
You're not doing it,
No, I don't know.
Check it out.
I will check it out. Listen, I like things that are real, and especially if it's that other stuff is kind of phony, done up. If you're saying it's real,
Yeah.
These men are in their mid 50s to like upper 60s.
And I don't want the guy from Chicago to
It's
necessarily win, but he is one of my favorite personalities.
And we have
He's
not
so
had this
great.
conversation before.
Yeah.
No.
All right, so now I have to watch to see you guys are
have
rooting
to. I'm
for.
sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
I
said
will.
to my wife last night, she was dying on the couch because every time he would come on TV, I would look over to her and I would say, "Hey, can we go get Portillo's?"
He's amazing.
So funny.
He's just got this big person. You have to see it. Highly recommended.
Yeah, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. So.
All right, so what time do you wake up tomorrow morning?
2:45 a.m.
All right, so let's get you home. Let's get you off to bed.
2:45. Now, quick question. I'm an early bird by nature.
Yeah.
2:45 that's even extra early.
That's
for
like
early
either
bird.
late. It could be like a late night or an early morning, depending on how you look at it.
I mean, I'm gonna naturally get up at
That's a late
4:30.
night.
I'm naturally 4:30 get up.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why?
But what
Just
time do
my
you
body
go to
gets
sleep?
up. My body gets up. I work out at 5:30.
Yeah, early workouts are the best.
Yeah.
But what time do you go to bed at night?
Early.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like 2:45. That's another level. That's
It's a late night.
That's hitting snooze for.
that's almost
Because
not
to
going
me,
to bed.
morning isn't until 4.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
anything
I'm
until
at
4
work
is
about
kind of
4.
late night.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, and
I
I
would
woke
agree.
up at 3:15 in the morning for 20 years, so it's right in
but
there.
I mean, was it hard to? And we could go on, but was it difficult to get into that like regular everyday pattern of not getting up in the middle of the night?
No, my body was so ready to sleep.
Yeah.
It was like,
I'm ready to
"Thank you."
sleep. Yeah.
And now when I have to wake up early for things,
Yeah.
my body hates me. Viscerally, physically, mentally, spiritually, it hates me.
Yes.
It looks at me and it goes, "Oh, we're doing this crap again?"
Right. What are you doing?
See,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna
Let's go to Portillo's and get a
I just found something out. I'm going to attribute my early mornings to my DNA. Do you know Ancestry will now pick out your traits to the point where you're an early morning person or a late person? It gave me 5 free traits almost to the T. One of them isn't. I mean, I've always said, why am I an early? Why do I get up early?
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
your DNA.
I can't. It's wired in. Like I could do anything in the morning, like 3 in the afternoon. I'm like one of those people. I
Okay.
can wake up.
Yeah.
I could do. It's like I wake up and I can like boom, whatever you
Yeah.
need me to do. Like I'm up. Like there's no.
Should be a newscaster, man. That's what
I
they
don't
are.
know, maybe
There's
in the middle
no
of the
there's
day.
no snooze button hitting.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
I can do that. But anyways, I thank you. I want to thank you so much for answering these questions.
thank you.
So genuinely, and your
thank you.
personality
It's the real
comes out.
deal, man.
your
I'm
personality,
telling you.
your positiveness,
What are you
and
talking
your
about?
positiveness and your personality are amazing.
Thank
and
you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
What else can I say?
Nothing.
I'll keep being a fan.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I'm
We'll
a fan
all
of
keep you
this.
a fan.
Thank you for having me. This
Thank
is
you.
amazing.
Thank
Very
you.
welcome.
Thank you for the kind words.
Wake up with Kaley O'Kelley tomorrow. She'll be on ABC 15. You'll be glad you did. If you've never
thank
seen
you.
her before, she's like I keep saying, she's a real deal. She's
Aw,
authentic.
the best.
She's just a good person. She's somebody you can root for.
And I
I'll
love
pay
the
you
color
later.
of that shirt too.
Thank you.
That's gonna look
Target.
good. I
Thank
love
you.
it. Yeah, looking good.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Steve. Well, that's
Thank
the wrap.
you.
We got to let these
Yes.
guests get out of
Yes,
here. She's
thank
got to
you.
take her kiddo
Yes.
to football.
Yes.
Football practice.
Where does he play now?
Football.
Pinnacle.
Okay.
Plays for the Storm. He's 12, but he's
so
like 6 foot tall and
I think
150
Eric's
pounds.
taking his kid to Pinnacle football right now.
Wait,
too.
who is?
Eric,
The
the guy
owner
that owns
here.
this place.
What's
he
his
was
last
on
name?
before you, Greenwald.
Greenwald.
Oh, I think he's on my son's team.
Of course
Yeah.
he is.
So we're new to the team. So this is cool.
Yeah.
I'll introduce myself to
Oh
him.
yeah,
Yeah, he's the bald guy with the cool glasses.
I know exactly. I sit
that's him.
right down the way from him. That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you,
right?
you guys.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you
Adios.
again. Have a
Steve,
great day.
thank you. What a great show.
I thought so. Our guests were amazing. They all have great stories to tell and share to our audience. So
This
I
is
don't
an
know what to say.
awkward departure. Do I go now?
No, you can do whatever
go,
you
you
want.
can
I don't want to be
stay.
rude. I want to just
No,
get him and
you
walk
can
away. That's so
stay.
How
rude.
about this? We'll wrap it up.
I'm sorry.
We're live at the Protein House. It's been a great episode.
Yes.
Thank you so much
Thank
to
you.
Eric and his team for having us here and putting us in the corner. Nobody puts baby in a corner, but today it was okay.
It was awesome.
Today it was okay.
It looked good. Thank you.
Thanks to
Thank
Sue.
you.
Thanks to Eric, especially our local legend.
Oh, come on.
Kaley O'Kelley. I'm Mathew Blades.
And the ProteinHouse.
Yes.
Come,
Oh my
stop
gosh.
by here.
Great food
That's for
here.
sure. You won't be disappointed.
All right. See you guys next
Thank
time.
you.
Peace.